You can tell when my cats have been in my bookshelves because all the books are disheveled. Look at this. All these books. Okay, so I think this is it. It's not. Hello, and welcome to another video. I'm sitting on my floor because sometimes you just need to sit on your floor. In today's video, I will be doing a book haul of 11 books. Basically, I've been trying to buy less books, and so at the beginning of the year, I told myself that I would try really hard not to buy books. And I've been doing pretty good because between January 1st and March 31st, I've only acquired 11 books. And that's great. That is such a low number. And some of them were gifts. So I'm going to do a little quarterly book haul today. The first 3 books we're talking about, I did get all on the same day. But basically, I will have an excuse for all of these, let me tell you. So basically, a couple years ago, not a couple years ago. It was literally last Christmas season, so Christmas 2022. I had the idea we could do a Christmas book date. So basically we went to Barnes & Noble and it was a little Christmas date and we picked out a book for each other. And it was a book we thought the person would like and the person could veto it if they wanted to. We had a say in it. It wasn't just blindly picking books. So this year we did that, but we ended up not doing it until January, the first week of January. So that's when I got these 3 books. So we ended up getting more books than just the 2, but that's just how it is at Barnes & Noble. So the book he picked out for me was Fade Out by Joseph Hansen. So the little blurb on the back, this is the reason he picked it out. It says, published 50 years ago, a time when being gay was illegal in 49 out of 50 states, Joseph Hansen's first Dave Branstetter novel shattered stereotypes and refined the private eye novel as we know it. So basically, this was a thriller mystery book from 50 years ago that paved the way for the books that are here now. And he thought I would like this because it's something slightly out of my comfort zone because it is an older book and it's I like thrillers and mysteries, but this is kind of a different direction of them, I guess, because I read I haven't read very many thrillers and mysteries to call it my favorite genre, but it's I read modern ones, and so this is something really different from that, and he thought that I would like it, so this is a book he picked out for me. So basically it's set in the 60s and it's about a radio personality named Fox Olson that goes missing. And his car is found driven off a bridge, and his wife files for the life insurance, but his body's never found. And so it's a mystery about that. So it does sound really interesting. I like the fact that it paved the way for future books. That's really cool. And it's pretty short. It wouldn't be that bad to read that. So that is the first book I got this year. And then I got another Alice Feeney book. I have read Daisy Darker, Rock, Paper, Scissors, His and Hers, and her new one, Good Bad Girl. So I'm only 2 behind now. So I picked up one of them because I want to get all of her books and it had the buy one 50% off sticker. So then I could get another book too. So this one is basically it's about this girl that's in an accident or something, and she wakes up in the hospital and she can hear everything that's happening, but they don't know she can hear it. And she's trapped in her own body, and she doesn't know if it was her husband that hurt her or her sister that hurt her, and it's her trying to figure that out while trapped in a coma in the hospital. So that sounds really interesting. I actually did not know what this book was about before buying it. I just wanted to buy it because it was Alice Feeney. And then the other book I got for the 50% off thing was Dark Things I Adore by Katie Letteri. I went to the Dark Academia table and was let me find one that has a sticker on it. And yeah, because I want to get into Dark Academia, but I haven't read very many books in that genre. So basically in 1988, this group of people are gathered in the woods and something happens. And then in 2018, there's this art professor that goes to his protege's house to look at her thesis, her graduate thesis collection. And the protege orchestrated the whole weekend and she knows what happened in 88. And I'm assuming that the professor has something to do with what happened in 88. So that sounds really interesting, I think. Probably will read this in the fall though. It's giving fall, you know? I'm trying to remember the order I got these in. Oh, I may have gotten this one first. This might have been before those other 3, but I got The Visible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This was my book club's book in January, and I did get this one used. Those 3 were obviously new. And I got this one used off Pango to try to save some money. I'm sure you've heard about this book because it was everywhere the last couple of years. But if you don't know what this book is about, it's about this girl named Addie LaRue, and she makes this deal with this entity, and basically she lives forever and doesn't age, but people can't remember her. She's like invisible to people. As soon as she leaves their sight, they can't remember her, and so she lives like 300 years being invisible to everyone around her, you know? Like, she can't have a home, she can't have belongings, she can't have a job, like she can't have relationships because no one remembers her. And it's a very, very sad book. Obviously I have read this one already because I read it in January. Very good book. I actually really, really liked it. I think I got this one next. My boyfriend ended up at a Barnes & Noble with one of his friends, and so he was like, I can't go to Barnes & Noble and not get Ivy something. And so he got this book. It's called Poor Dear by Claire Oshetiski. And I'm not really sure what it's about. So basically it's about this girl who is a weaver of fantastic tales. So she seems very like in her head or whatever, and then one of her friends dies and people like kind of blame her, and then there's this poor dear, this creature who's like in her tales that's like making her face what happened to her friend. Seems like it's possibly magical realism. I'm not really sure the genre of this one, but it's also just like a cute little book. So he got me that. And then I'm thinking the next book I got was Bride by Ali Hazelwood, because this came out in February and my book club read it in February. So this is Ali Hazelwood's first paranormal romance. She's so far only written like STEM romance. I know you've heard of her. And so this one is about this vampire named Misery, and her dad is like in charge of the vampires, and so she has to marry the Were pack leader as an alliance thing, and she does it because some reason you find out in the book. And it's paranormal romance. There's also some like mystery in it, and it's kind of political with the different like groups between like vampires, werewolves, and humans. I had mixed feelings about this, but I did end up liking it. I just decided paranormal romance is not the genre for me. And then for our anniversary, which was at the end of February, I only asked for like one thing, and then he just decided what else to get me, and the thing I asked for was a hardcover of Powerless by Lauren Roberts, because I got a paperback of it because it was an option, and I was like, I like paperbacks, but then I like ended up really liking the book, and I wanted a hardcover as like a collector thing. And so Powerless is a like, I think it's YA, but the main character is like 19, so it's probably like NA, but anyway. It's set in this kingdom, town, city, whatever, where there was this like illness, and then everyone ended up with like magical abilities after that, and anyone who did not have magical ability was like killed. They didn't want them in the kingdom because they thought it would like weaken the bloodlines or whatever. And so the main character of this book, Peyton, is pretending that she has an ability when she doesn't. She is powerless. And she ends up saving the prince's life, and they do this thing kind of like the Hunger Games or whatever, where they have like these trials that teenagers with these abilities compete in, and it's like a prestige thing. And so they're like, oh, you saved the prince, now you're part of these trials, and she doesn't even have any powers, and so it's her like navigating these trials. And it was so good. Some people will say that this book is too much like the Hunger Games. Honestly, it's really not. Like, it didn't even remind me that much of the Hunger Games, because the trials are completely different, because there's like trials with an S, there's multiple, and it's not like a fight to the death, only one person wins. Like, one person wins, but it's not about killing everyone. People can die during it, but that's not the purpose. Like, it honestly just doesn't even feel like the Hunger Games. Like, just because there's trials doesn't mean it's the Hunger Games. And so like, if you think it's just too much like the Hunger Games, you don't want to read it, just don't. Just read it, okay? And then the March book club book that my book club read that I haven't gotten to yet is Butcher and Blackbird by Brian Weaver, and this is about serial killers. Oh my god, this book sounds so good. I'm so excited to get to it. It's about these two people that are serial killers because they kill serial killers, and they're kind of like rivals, but they keep running into each other, and they like form like a friendship. And like, doesn't that just sound so good? And this cover eats. I'm so excited to read this book. I'm hopefully gonna get to it in April. And then my birthday rolled around, and I only got 2 books for my birthday this year because I ended up getting like some like more pricey items from like family, so I didn't get books. But one of my friends gave me books because my boyfriend told her about one of my favorite gift ideas, which is either giving someone this gift or asking for it. But it's a copy of your favorite book. Define that as you will. I know it's hard to pick a favorite. And then you write inside of it why it's your favorite. And I really love giving this gift as well as receiving this gift. The first person I ever asked for this present from was my favorite aunt, and she's actually passed away since then, so it's really nice to have a copy of her favorite book with, you know, her handwriting in it. So he told my friend this, and it's like a new friend, like I've only known her a couple months. And so she gave me a copy of like her favorite book. I'm thinking from her childhood, which is The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman, which I've never read this series. I've definitely like heard about it. And then she wrote on the inside, and it means a lot to me. So I don't actually know what this is about. So it's like this about this girl named Lyra. Her best friend goes missing, and so she teams up with this person to get the best friend back. And it's like fantasy because the person she teams up with can turn into lions and falcons and stuff. So yeah, and it's a TV series, so that's cool. And then she also, it was like she gave me presents from like her and her boyfriend because he was like out of town. So I also got a copy of his favorite book, which is Hounded by Kevin Harn. This is the first book in a series called The Iron Druid Chronicles. Every time I'm around her boyfriend, he tells me to read this series. So let's see what this is about. So the main character's name is Atticus, and he is the last of ancient druids, and he's been on the run for 2,000 years, and he's like tired of it, and he says, I guess it's just like him facing down enemies, and there's like help from some people that are like on his side and stuff. That actually does sound kind of interesting, and it's a series. So that's another book that I got for my birthday. And then I think the last book I got in the first 3 months of the year was Pride and Premeditation by Tirzah Price. This is like a modern version of Pride and Prejudice-ish. I've heard about this book, and then a YouTuber I like, she's changed her handle. I think her handle is Simply Faith Things now. Yeah, that's her new handle. She like posted that she put books on her Pango, and so I always look when someone puts books on their Pango, and this is one of them. And I love Pride and Prejudice, and I was like, I'm buying it. So Lizzie Bennet is an aspiring law student. She's 17, and a young fledgling lawyer, Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy, go head to head in a murder case. And then there's like feelings. I'm excited. I haven't read any like modern versions of Pride and Prejudice yet, so I'm looking forward to one, especially because it involves a murder case. Okay, I just finished filming the video, and I found another book that I got. It's not like a novel, but it is still like a book I got. And that is like Bibliophile, which is an illustrated miscellany. I don't know. But basically it's just a book about books that my coworker gave me for my birthday. And so it just has different spreads. So these are like bookstore cats that I guess are like popular and like around the US. Here's a spread about bookstores. Here's a spread about books made into movies. Like it's just different. It's just like a collection about books. Oh, here's a spread about pets that belong to writers. I don't know. I think this is really cool. So it's not like a book you'd necessarily like sit down and read, but a book that you like pick up and like flip through and like read portions of it. So yeah, I did want to say that I also got this book as a present, and I just have it like on display right now on top of my Cassandra Clare books because I had like an empty spot right there. So that is another book that I got in this quarter of the year. So this is all 11 books that I've gotten so far this year. And like I said, I think I've done a pretty good job of not buying books. Or buying less books. Because like, also what, like 4 of these were gifts. So I didn't pay for them. That's not bad. I think I have done such a great job of not buying books this year. I say holding a stack of books. But seriously, I have definitely bought this many books in a month before. So like I'm doing great. I'm doing so good. I'm just really need to cut down on buying books because I am like literally just like out of space. I literally have books stacked in a basket on the floor because I have nowhere else to put books. So I really need to cut back on my book buying for space in my home and also money. But like I said, so okay, we're doing some stats now. 11 books, right? These 4 were gifts. These 2 were used. and which taken one of the used ones. These 3 are for my book club, which I have said up front that like even if I'm trying to buy less books, I will still buy the book every month for my book club because I like the sense of community that book clubs give you. So if we're excluding all of those, which is like presents don't count. Like if you want to give me books, give me books. They don't count. And used books, which is like you don't spend very much money on used books, and excluding book club books because I have to buy them. That's only 3 books that I unnecessarily bought. And then like I said, one of them was like for like a date. It was like a belated Christmas present. I mean, I paid for it. But yeah, so that was like a date, but whatever. Only 3 were new books that I didn't need, and I think that is great. I told you I'd make excuses. But anyway, those are the books that I've got between January 1st and March 31st. I am specifying because we're into the first week of April now, and I have acquired 4 books so far in the first week of April, which that'll be in the next quarterly wrap-up I do. So I'm not gonna talk about those right now because that's a problem. No, I totally just lied. I've acquired 5 books in the first week of April, but that's for the next quarterly wrap-up, so that doesn't need to be talked about right now. But yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching my book haul. I have just, at the beginning of the year, I decided I was gonna start doing like quarterly book hauls instead of talking about them each month because I know it's more interesting to watch like a whole video about book hauls, and I am not doing them monthly or weekly or anything like that because I'm not buying books. So quarterly book hauls it is, and this has been the first quarter, and hopefully I do about the same the next quarter. So yeah, thank you for watching. Maybe I'll watch some more of my videos, and